If you're flying with a carry-on this year, there are a few common mistakes causing travelers a lot of unnecessary stress and hundreds of dollars in surprise fees at the airport. Most people only find out at the gate when their bag is taken away, which is why in today's video, we'll be breaking down what's actually changing and what's not changing so you know exactly what to expect for your next flight. The first mistake getting travelers into big trouble at the airport is believing there's a new universal carry-on size all airlines must follow. You may have seen claims that all airlines are switching to a global maximum carry-on suitcase size of 22 by 14 by 9 inches. That's not true. There is no government mandate, no worldwide standard, and no sudden rule change across all airlines. There's been talk for years about European airlines moving to one standard size, but even that has not happened yet. For now, every airline still has its own rules for what luggage you can bring onto the plane, and thankfully, many of them are similar. On most full-service North American airlines, a carry-on allowance usually includes one carry-on suitcase plus one personal item. Most use size limits around 22 by 14 by 9 inches for the carry-on suitcase, and simply state that the personal item must fit under the seat in front of you. Many travelers get into trouble at the gate because they don't realize that while many airlines in the US have a similar carry-on allowance, the rules still vary by airline. And it's not just size that varies. Weight limits differ, and in some cases, you may not even be allowed a carry-on at all. Let me give you a specific example. Hawaiian Airlines uses the common 22 by 14 by 9 size limit, but adds a strict 25-pound weight limit. Frontier Airlines allows a larger carry-on up to 24 by 16 by 10 inches, but enforces a 35-pound weight limit. Other airlines, like Air Canada and United, don't include any carry-on suitcase allowance at all on a basic economy ticket. A universal standard would be a welcome change because, as you can see from these examples, all the carry-on rules vary by airline, which ends up being quite confusing. Beyond carry-ons, airlines also differ in what counts as a personal item. Some airlines don't list exact dimensions and simply say it must fit under the seat in front of you. Others are oddly specific, like Southwest, which explicitly states that even small items like a blanket or a camera count as a personal item. That means you can board with either a purse or a backpack or a blanket or a camera, but not all of them. I won't bore you with the nuances of every airline, so what I'm hoping to show with these examples is that you should never assume an airline's carry-on allowance. You need to check the website of the airline that you are flying with to know what size carry-on you are allowed to bring on board. You also need to check the personal item allowance and make sure you know what's actually included with your ticket type, whether it's basic economy or premium economy. The second mistake that catches travelers off guard is not realizing carry-on enforcement has changed. Airlines have always had carry-on restrictions, but what's changed dramatically is how strictly they enforce them. Airlines are cracking down since overhead bin space has become quite the hot commodity, and also because gate agents are actually being incentivized and getting paid a bonus every time they tell you your carry-on is too big and they end up checking it in. You've probably noticed metal sizing bins popping up everywhere in airports, especially at check-in counters and boarding gates. These bins remove any room for debate. If your bag doesn't slide easily in and out, it's considered oversized and you'll be charged a hefty fee to check it. Also keep in mind that all of these size restrictions are going to include the wheel and the handles of your suitcase. Do not make the mistake of measuring your suitcase thinking it's going to fit, but neglecting the wheels. Not good. If any part of the bag doesn't fully fit in the sizer, it's at risk. Airline agents may also be under pressure to crack down on borderline bags. Frontier was caught paying gate agents bonuses for every oversized bag they flagged. That means agents were literally incentivized to find bags that didn't comply. And it's not just Frontier. Across the industry, flights are packed and overhead space is limited, so enforcement is tighter than ever. If you're curious whether your bag fits, never test it in a sizing bin near your boarding gate. You're basically advertising to agents that your bag might be oversized. If you do need to test the size of your carry-on, or if you are just curious, make sure you do it in a sizing bin that is away from your gate. Far away from your gate. If you test your carry-on suitcase in the sizing bin at your gate in front of the gate agent and it doesn't fit, you are asking for trouble. The third mistake many travelers make is not checking which airline is actually operating their flight. Something that catches travelers completely off guard is that the airline you book with isn't always the airline that actually flies the plane. These are called code-share flights, and they're one of the biggest reasons people get hit with surprise fees. If you book a flight from Atlanta to Amsterdam on Delta's website, you see Delta's logo, you pay Delta, and your confirmation says Delta. But at the gate, you discover the plane is operated by KLM. That means KLM's carry-on rules apply, not Delta's. If KLM has stricter size or weight limits, you could be in for a surprise. This gets even trickier with connections. Let us know down in the video comments if you have ever been caught off guard by your airline's carry-on rules. We certainly have, which is also why we make these videos to keep you informed every single week. And by me, I mean Ollie, but I understand that his main contribution is his cuteness. You might book what looks like a JetBlue flight from New York to Los Angeles to Honolulu. JetBlue operates the first leg to Los Angeles, but Hawaiian Airlines operates the second flight that gets you to Honolulu, and they have a 25-pound carry-on weight restriction. So your 30-pound carry-on that was fine for your first flight with JetBlue ends up being the reason you are stopped at the boarding gate in Los Angeles before the second flight. In this case, you might be stuck paying an overweight fee you never saw coming. This happens all the time because most travelers never think to check the operating airline. Avoid being caught off guard by reviewing your booking confirmation for phrases like operated by. The easiest way to pack when you are flying with multiple airlines is to review the carry-on rules for each of those airlines and then pack your stuff so it matches the strictest rules. The fourth mistake that stresses travelers out unnecessarily is thinking gate-checked bags are a bad thing. If you're flying economy and don't have priority boarding, expect your carry-on to be gate-checked on many flights. This isn't a failure or punishment. It's how the system works now. By the time general boarding starts, overhead bins are often full. Or at least that's what airlines tell us. Some, like Southwest, have recently been criticized for claiming bins are full when there's still plenty of space. Either way, you should expect your carry-on may be taken before you board. The other good news that many travelers don't realize is that gate checking is actually different from getting a bag checked to baggage claim, and gate checking is actually pretty awesome. And it's free. Most travelers panic when they hear gate check, assuming it means baggage claim delays, lost luggage, or fees. But gate checking is not the same as checking a bag at the counter. Most gate-checked bags are returned to you on the jet bridge as you exit the plane. There's no baggage carousel, less rough handling, lower risk of loss or damage, and no waiting. You drop it as you board and grab it as you get off. A gate-checked bag tag is usually a small, brightly colored tag wrapped around the suitcase handle of your carry-on, while a regular checked baggage tag is a longer printed sticker with a barcode. With new rules and stricter enforcement, you might be wondering if it's even worth it to fly with a carry-on anymore. Even with airlines cracking down on carry-on limits, I'm still firmly a carry-on only traveler, and there are a few strategies I use to cut down on stress and uncertainty. First, I make sure everything I need for the flight is in my personal item. Frequent flyers know it's nearly impossible to access a zipped suitcase in an overhead bin anyway, so I assume that anything in my carry-on won't be accessible during the flight, whether it ends up in an overhead bin, gate-checked, or checked to baggage claim. The second strategy is cutting down on what I bring to stay carry-on compliant by choosing a handful of tops and bottoms that mix and match for multiple occasions, instead of packing a pile of clothes. I actually packed carry-on only for my 6-week stay in Thailand, and I didn't even realize until I arrived that about 90% of the clothing in my suitcase was from today's video partner, Halara. Halara is the ultimate hack to pack less, because their pieces mix and match so easily and are versatile enough that you can dress them up or down. I rotate different combinations for everyday activities like heading to a co-working space or looking put together for an afternoon exploring, and even pair Halara tops with one of my tie skirts when I want a more polished evening look, all while staying cool and comfortable in hot, humid weather. Many of the Halara tops I own also have built-in bras with molded cups, which saves a surprising amount of space since I don't need to pack separate bras. A lot of their pieces are also wrinkle-resistant, so I can army roll everything into a small packing cube and pull it out ready to wear. I've linked all the Halara pieces I packed for Thailand in the description. Don't forget to use the code TRAVEL at checkout to save 20% on the already affordable clothing. While airlines care about the size and weight of your luggage, TSA enforces a completely different set of rules when you go through the airport security checkpoint, and just like with carry-ons, things have changed. You'll want to know what's actually happening by watching the video on the screen, as well as the one linked in the description, where I break down the new TSA upgrades from CT scanners to automated lanes and why many travelers aren't thrilled about them. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button to join Ollie and me back here for more travel tips and hacks each week, and we will see you in that next video soon. Bye.